What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, happy holidays. Hope you're having a great holiday season. Today we got a Faceoff meta guide. If you've been watching my stream, these strats have been spreading like wildfire throughout the Faceoff player base, basically. And yeah, I'm showing you what I use today. We've got builds for Sevagoth, Wisp, Buld, weapons, coup brows, and the like. So let's get right into it. Before we do, make sure to sub this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, discussion videos, all that stuff in the right place for Warframe content. And yeah, also, this is a place you can get conclave rep, and that's basically the reason you would play this mode, is to get conclave, basically PvP rep. Okay, so let's get into it. So yeah, Faceoff is a PvE race. There's two squads, so you're the squad that you're on and the other team's squad. You guys have the exact same map layout and the exact same objectives. It's basically just who can complete it faster. So with the strats we're showing today, you will be pretty much guaranteed to win as long as you're, playing somewhat normally. So yeah, this is a meta guide for a reason. We're doing lots and lots of testing on stream of what's the best, and I can show you today some of the most insanely powerful stuff for all these objectives in Faceoff. So let's get right into it. Alright, so let's start off with first things first. The way Faceoff works, there's lots of different objectives. There's objectives that usually involve either defending an objective, or basically defending like a defense point, or destroying enemies, destroying mini-bosses, or basically a mini-excavation where you go out and grab stuff and bring it to the defense point. Pretty much everything in this is a defense point, or like a little variant of that, like find the item, bring it back to the thing. So, the big thing here is that these enemies are the Scaldra and the Tech Rod. So there's two different types of enemies you're fighting here, and they have different resistances as well. Thankfully, they're only like level 150 Steel Path, so they're not very hard to kill with the weapons we're using today. But the big thing here is efficiency. The faster you kill the entire area of enemies and get all the stuff you need, the quicker you'll move on to the next area, and that means that you'll be potentially doing it faster than the other team. The difference in loot here is not going to be that substantial between winner and loser, but the big difference is the amount of reputation you get if you win. So, to put in perspective, on our fastest win we've had so far, it's a sub 4 minute run, 3 minutes 44 seconds. We got 3,000. We were supposed to get 3,000 conclave rep. I was actually capped on conclave rep. You get 3,000 conclave rep for a win and 1,500 for a loss. And a daily reset worth of conclave rep is 33,000 reps. So you need to win 11 games per day if you want to max out your conclave rep on a daily basis. But looking at what kind of loot we got here for a win, we got 100 Phosphor, 2,700 Endo, 1 Relic, 2 Steel Essence, and some other stuff that's not as important. So the big thing here is that the drops for the loot in Faceoff are individual. So just because I got 100 Phosphor doesn't mean that my teammates got it too. It will either give you 100 Phosphor or 50 Phosphor and a new Arcane. So it's not a very good Arcane farm, but it is a very good, it's probably the only Conclave farm because no one's actually playing normal Conclave. So the matchmaking for this doesn't go the fastest, but if you are in a 4-stack, it will go a lot faster. And I would recommend farming it in a 4-stack, okay? So you're going to load it and stuff, and as far as the biggest things to keep in mind here, it's just making sure you're not wandering off. When it says new objective, go help with a new objective. The objective does not properly start until someone's actually in the circle, so it's frames like Titania, frames like Volt, Speedster frames are going to be your friends here, because the faster the better, honestly. So let's go into what strategies are utilized for some of the top tier meta strats, basically. The ones that we're using in the video, the ones we're basically creating for this video too, because yeah, I don't think a lot of people are really playing this as much, but I've been enjoying it because it's basically a way to max out conclave reps. So let's start with the meta frames for Faceoff and the meta weapons for Faceoff, and also the meta companion too, because there is a meta companion for Faceoff as well. Alright, so as we stated, the things you want to do in Faceoff is you want to be doing a PvE race. So the faster you can kill stuff, the more efficiently you can kill stuff, the better you're going to be doing. So we're going to be using Steel Path Incarnon weapons and speed running frames. That means Volt, meta. Wisp, meta. And also keep in mind too, those frames are frames that buff your teammate's speed too, because if you're the only one that's at the objective and you're the only one doing the lockbox challenge, it ain't going to go as pretty as if you had 4 people looking for the lockbox stuff for you as well. So, yeah, that's why, I'm not recommending Gauss. I mean, you could play Gauss. He's totally fine. But there's a reason I'm playing Sevagoth, too. We'll talk about that here in a second. So, yeah, frames that buff your entire team's speed are going to be extremely meta here. The enemies don't deal that much damage, so the Wisp mode's healing you isn't as big of a deal, but there are times where like the enemy's debuffs that you can apply actually might be noticeable. Like disabling health orbs, having Wisp modes for that can be kind of nice. And as far as the frames are not Wisp and Volt and Sevagoth, the last frame is really going to be up to you. Our quickest win ever did have a Jade on our team. The Jade was buffing our power strength. And it was actually kind of insane how much power strength Jade was giving us for that movement speed. So that could be an option, Jade for big damage buffs. There is a mini boss encounter as well. We're having a frame with a silence ability could be very good because they're Eximus mini bosses. And the Eximus mini boss can actually use an ability that heals it. It will make you waste a bunch of time. Pretty much just make you lose, so... yeah, now that we talk about what you're doing here, let's talk about some of the builds and how you can actually use this in everyday face-off missions to just knock them out real fast. So, yeah, let's start with the Magistar, which will be used with every frame, and then we'll also move on to the companions and stuff like that afterwards, okay? So, starting off with the Magistar, I've got the Magistar Normal Incarnon. Now, here's why we use this. There are objectives in here that are needing to be destroyed, to like basically destroy the jammers pretty much. And the Magistar has an extremely large slam radius of like, I don't even know, like giganto. It's like 20 meter slam radius. So that's like a 20 meter AoE when you do the slam attack that will break those sensors. Additionally, it will kill everything in the mission very easily. And it's just good in general. It's very good for some of the mini bosses as well. Additionally, we're going very, like, again, guys, we're showing a lot of tryhard synergy stuff today. You don't have to go this far at all. I'm showing you guys what I use in these missions. We got the Magistar. Now, when the Magistar goes into Incarnon form, it gets you get extra sprint speed and parkour velocity. You also get increased initial combo and damage. We are running 4 of the Ready Steel Aura mod, which gives your teammates built-in initial combo, and we've got a coaction drift on one player as well. With 4 ready steals and 1 coaction drift, you are at 106 combo hits, and you will have instant Incarnon before the mission even starts. So you're starting off the mission already fast to the other team because you're going to have Volt, Wisp, and instant Incarnon giving you more parkour velocity and sprint. Okay, so showing what we have here, we have the Magistar Normal Incarnon, Edge of Justice, Seismic Slam, Critical Parallel. And as far as the build, I do have a God Roll Ribbon. If you don't have a God Roll Ribbon, I would recommend getting one, but if you don't have it, that's not that big of a deal, I suppose, especially for this mission. But do keep in mind, these enemies are not considered infested, they're not considered grenadier. No Bane mods will work. If you don't have a Ribbon, maybe throw on, like, honestly, just throw on, like, Glad or Might, I guess. That should be pretty much fine in that slot. But yeah, the idea of this build is going to be good against Scaldra and good against Tech Rot. So we've got a built-in gas build right now. So we've got Toxin mod and a Heat mod for gas. Tech Rot are weak to gas. And we got melee exposure it gives you built-in corrosive, and Scaldra are weak to corrosive. Spoiler, we're doing like 2.1 billion damage on some of these hits, so it's not like it actually matters what we're modded for, but to me, it does matter to an extent, so. We got that stuff. We've also got Dispatch Override and a heavy attack hit increase movement speed for 15 seconds. That does work with heavy slams, so we get built-in movement speed increase from that. We've got Seismic Slam for increased slam attack damage, so we can basically cover a huge area with our slam attack with this build. And again, this is used on all 4 frames, okay? Because Magistar is meta for this. I'm going to go ahead and show how it works on these guys here. Alright, so we're going to summon in some Scaldras. And I am in the new Simulacrum. I don't know if I actually want to have it, like, unmuted, because it's really loud. This Simulacrum is really loud. Oh, okay, well, my dog just killed them all, it looks like. Well, here's a good way to show how damage attenuation works. So, these guys are all dead, but look at this guy right here. Why is he not dead? It's called damage attenuation, so... the way damage attenuation works, this means you basically just can't insta-kill certain enemies. And there's going to be some enemies in these missions called Tech Rot Eximus Babaus and Scaldra Denizants. Those are the enemies that have damage attenuation, and it'll mean you cannot insta-kill them, unless you do the things we show in the video today, so... yeah, you know, we can insta-kill everything, but we can't insta-kill this guy. That's just kind of how DE designed it. So, having a dog with a lot of damage can be a helpful way to kill these guys, but as you see, there's just really no way to insta-kill them unless we show the special strats. So, yeah, I was supposed to show the Magistar, so let's go ahead and do that. So we just use our Slam Magistar, and everything besides that guy is dead. That guy will be dead pretty soon once our dog gets onto him, so... yeah, that's going to be your Magistar. That's going to take out huge groups of enemies. It's going to take out the jammers. This is going to take out pretty much everything you need to take out besides the Eximus Babaus. The way we're going to take care of Eximus Babaus is going to be, well, I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm going to be using Sevagoth's Shadow to one-shot. On death, Sevagoth's Shadow returns to the fight and resurrects him to collect the souls needed to rebuild his tombstone. So, the way Sevagoth's passive works, when you die, you become the Sevagoth Shadow. And that Shadow is a guaranteed one-shot, I believe, 5 enemies. So when you get to the mini-boss section of this fight, you need to die on purpose, and you need to go and one-shot those mini-bosses. It's kind of hard to do if your teammates are reviving you, spam reviving you, it's not going to work. But the thing is, when it does work, you pretty much just instantly won the face-off round. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I run Sevagoth. Now, Sevagoth's Shadow Haze is quite good as well. I'm just going to go ahead and show you the assassination right here. Here's how Sevagoth Shadow works in practice. So, here's why I play Sevagoth. So, basically, you go in here, you die. Now that I'm dead, I'm in Sevagoth Shadow. I can one-shot these mini-bosses. We actually have 2 Sevagoths on our team just to make sure if anything goes wrong for the other Sevagoth, the other Sevagoth player can handle it for them. So yeah, Sevagoth's pass is what we used here, and all 3 of the Xmas all 3 of them are dead. Now as you see, we were actually behind in this bounty. We actually pulled ahead and were able to achieve the W because of the power of Sevagoth. So yeah, guys, if you're playing against Sevagoth and you don't have it on your team, it might just be an instant loss if they know what to do. Just keep that in mind that Sevagoth is the king of the assassination on this mission, okay? Now, for frames that aren't going to be as OP as Sevagoth, I also would just recommend you just bring the dog. The dog I just showed you right there, the dog can kill the boss pretty quickly. Not the best as Sevagoth, obviously, but still pretty decent. We've got the Chesa Kubrau. The Chesa Kubrau is the meta companion for these missions because one of the bounty steps is a mini excavation. The excavation will have these little gas cans that drop from enemies, and the retrievability of the Chesa can give you a second gas can. Additionally, when I show you some of my other Sevagoth builds, you could actually get triple gas cans with some of the other sources of loot in this game. So pretty good stuff there. But yeah, it's just a Chesa build. Good for killing stuff. It's a damage Chesa build to an extent with Contagious Bond doing AoE damage. And our Chesa has 424% status chance and 141% crit chance. It can definitely hit pretty hard. It has not the best crit damage, though. A 4.8 multiplier is pretty bad. So we could definitely go with a different mod if we wanted to, but it's good for now, honestly. So yeah, that's going to be my Chesa build, the meta companion for this mission for sure. And now as far as Sevagoth, I've got 2 builds for Sevagoth I want to show you. The first one is the one I've been using the most. This is the Infestable ability Sevagoth build. Now keep in mind, you could not replicate this build the way it is exactly tuned right now because I do have a really crazy strong invigoration for power, strength, and parkour. So I move faster than you will unless you have this exact invigoration, basically. But we use Infestable ability for increased movement speed, parkour, and sprint speed. We can cross the entire map in one jump. Additionally, you've got slim attack damage mods. Naira's Anguish and Naira's Hatred give us more slim attack damage for our Magistar. The rest of the stuff doesn't really matter. We've got Rolling Guard in case we get by a Jade Xmas Laser. Equilibrium to keep the energy going all the time, which is not even needed. Prime Flow to have a big energy pool. Shadow Haze for crazy red crits. And Precision Intensify to buff our fourth ability, Infestable ability, even more. See how this works in practice. I cast the ability, and I jump across the room at maximum speed. So that's basically what it is. And here's the playstyle, okay? Slam. Slam. Bullet jump, slam. This is what you're going to be doing as Slam Sevagoth with Infestable ability. You will go from area to area, taking out like 10 enemies per hit, and you will be ready to die when the assassination comes up, so you can carry that part entirely yourself. So yeah, Sevagoth can definitely carry solo. Other frames, not as easy to carry solo. Go over the last couple things I got in Sevagoth here. Before I show the other build, we've got the Paris Prime Incarnon for a dog stat stick with Guardian's Might, Ardent Trigger, and Elemental Balance. As far as the build on here, just maximum status chance and crit to buff our dog's stats. Primary dexterity is fine, but we're not going to be using this thing anyway to give us more damage. Got the Ocucor equipped. This is basically for people that don't want to use the Slam Magistar. You can use the Ocucor, and there is a new Ocucor arcade we have a video on tomorrow, but we're currently using Cascadia Flare because it's a lot more easy mode. Just basically throw out your Shadow Haze and then just like nuke them down with the Ocucor, I suppose. Not the best, not the fastest, but acceptable for sure. It's got like 28 meters beam range, which is pretty slow. It's basically the range of a Magistar Slam attack, but it can still get the job done technically if you really need it to. Alright, so as you see, nowhere near as fast as the Magistar, but still somewhat respectable. And that guy still does not instantly die, because that's just how they're designed. Alright, so now that we've talked about Sevagoth and the weapons I got on Sevagoth, let's move on to some of the other frames. Actually, I didn't show the second Sevagoth build. One sec. This is the experimental test build right now. Now, as we stated earlier, the gas cans in this game mode are affected by loot abilities. So, Korra's Pilfering Trigodome, Necros Desecrate, and Atlas Petrify or Gaze do work. So here we are with a extremely high power from Sevagoth with the Aura Gaze Augment. Petrified enemies have a chance to drop additional loot when killed. So basically what we do, we find the gas can carrier, and we just basically find them and we petrify them. Once they're petrified, they take a lot more damage, and they're also going to drop a lot more loot if you have enough strength. So do that, and then just hope for the best, and you can get like 3 or more gas cans from doing that, which is, you know, definitely RNG, but with this much power strength, it actually isn't RNG. You're guaranteed a double gas can if you actually petrify them, because we've got like 440% power strength, which is overkill beyond belief, or more like 430% power strength. But you can't get these numbers normally. So whoever frame has 400% power strength can run this. If you don't have 400% power strength, I wouldn't recommend running this. Just run Infest Mobility instead. But yeah, definitely an option if you have a crazy setup like me. All right, all the shards are power strength shards as well, just for maximum power. All right, so enough talk about Sevagoth. The Shadow build is not important. Just put on like a max tank build so the Babaus don't kill you. What you actually can do as well as Seva, and I have been doing this a lot too, go to your keys, equip the Bleeding Dragon Key. This will reduce your health to make it easier to die to these weakling enemies. And the Decaying Dragon Key to like basically ruin your shield gauge, so the enemies can kill you a lot easier. With both of these equipped, you have like 100 health. So you can die a lot easier and get your passive off a lot easier to win. So, yeah. Let's move on to some other frames here. Oh, looks like I'm locked on this straight. Okay, well, let's move on to some other frames that we've been using in Faceoff, mainly Volt and Wisp. And I can show you some of the loadouts for that too. So, let's start with Volt. Keep in mind, I do have a lot of stuff similar on Volt that I have on Sevagoth. We've got maximum power strength shards. We've got the Magistar with the exact same build. And I think we got the exact same Kubrau too. So keep that in mind, guys. The Kubrau and the melee are exactly the same between the two builds. The only difference here is to be you're playing Volt, obviously. Now, as a 4-stack team in Face-Off, one of the things you can do to make it where you're going to have the best chance to win is before you go in, you see what helmets everybody's got. As far as the helmet layout you want to have, I'd recommend you have Silence. Make sure you got Silence. You're not playing Sevagoth to prevent those Tech Rot Babau abilities. Second, have Nourish on somebody to give energy regen or energy buffing and built-in viral damage. And third, have somebody on Roar. If you have Roar, Silence, and Nourish, you're basically just going to have the entire mission taken care of for you. Additionally, don't bring Dante, because Dante is going to make it where Sevagoth can't actually die when he needs to. But yeah, we got a Nourish Volt build here, but you could easily swap the Silence, or you could swap to like Roar if you need to. I'm trying to remember where I put Silence on here, but I do have Silence on here for Face-Off. Also, Eclipse could technically work too. Okay, well, either way, you could just easily throw Silence on here with a little bit of range, and you could be that guy with the Silence buff. So, as far as what we got here, as you remember, Ready Steel. Only one player on your team actually needs to have Coaction Drift, so Ready Steel's fine here. But the rest is just going to be buffing our teammates and buffing us a lot. Our Volt Speed gives a 3.88 multiplier, which is pretty good. Keep in mind, this also affects the recovery animation of heavy attack slams, so it makes them a little bit faster, technically. Shock with the Shock Augment to give a bunch of extra electric, which no longer combines. And as I said earlier, Nourish to give viral to everybody, so it's just good in general. We got Arcane Avenger on here. You don't really need Arcane Avenger. It's not really used that much. You could probably put on like Energize or something there instead. But it's just a big power strength Volt build. Now, ideally I wouldn't have Umbra Vitality on here, but I have an Umbra form on Volt, so I can't really fit anything else that I really want to that badly. But you don't have any survivability issues anyway with Wisp modes, so don't worry about that. Alright, moving on to the weapons and stuff. I don't really use the weapons as much here, but you could just use like the Magistar and the Ocucor, I guess, for my new video. I was just leveling up the Ocucor. We got a Corrosive Blast Magnetic build. This is pretty decent for it, but not exactly the best. Incarnons that have like infinite ammo are also going to be pretty good too, like the Miter. But yeah, moving on to Wisp here. We've got Wisp. Now, I believe Wisp does have Silence on her. Yeah, Wisp definitely has Silence on her, so this will prevent Exodus abilities, means the Tech Rot Babaus will not heal, which is very good. But mainly, yeah, that's it. Now, it is actually not good beyond that. It's the stun enemies where they're standing. It will make it harder for you to kill them because they'll be stuck in a hallway or whatever. So, keep in mind that like this is a very powerful ability, but it also can be easy to mess up. So be aware of that when you cast it. It's really easy to mess up, honestly. So, but yeah, Wisp beyond that is here for the Wisp modes to give increased movement speed. So we got a 65% movement speed multiplier and a fire rate buff here. The fire rate buff, again, does help with heavy slams to reduce the recovery animation. But yeah, we're mainly here for the movement speed increase and how easy it is to proc. So, As far as the Wisp build I've been running, I got Fused Reservoir to drop all 3 motes at once. Helps a lot when we're trying to run through here as fast. Now, I don't have Ready Steel on, but I can easily change that. Also, if you don't have a team like a 4-stack, don't run around with Ready Steel. Ready Steel is pretty bad with 1. It's really good with 4 of them, though. So yeah, you can run Ready Steel if you want, or if you don't have that, you can just run a different one. You got all the basically all the power string that I felt like putting on here, with a little bit of duration, a little bit of range, and rolling guard in case we get a Jade Eximus laser. If you guys didn't know this, the seasons of 1999 actually have seasonal Eximus as well, and during spring there are more Jade Eximus lasers than there usually are. So yeah. Now, as far as the rest of the stuff here, again, the Magistar is the exact same, and the Chesa is the exact same. Something I didn't show the Chesa real quick is that I think I actually had the wrong build. I actually have this build on Pack Leader. So we're doing so many slam attacks, and this will give our pet Overguard, so it's going to have 2200 Overguard, and will basically be never dying, because we're going to be slam attacking so much. But here's something you want to keep in mind with this dog, okay? You know, I was talking about the gas can thing earlier, how you get more gas cans from the loot abilities. Well, the thing is, these dogs are so OP nowadays, they can kill these enemies in 1 hit. So if you are doing that, maybe don't go full damage, because you might want to not have the dog killing things before you can petrify it. So maybe go elusive posture if you want to. If you've been finding problems. I haven't really been having too many problems with the dog killing the gas can guy, but it definitely can happen. So just be aware that these different posture mods change the behavior in attack situations. So yeah, pretty good stuff, guys. That's going to be pretty much it for Faceoff. Now let's go ahead and show Babau here so I can actually show you how annoying these things are. Now keep in mind, the ones we summon in here are actually less tanky than the ones that summon in Faceoff. The Faceoff ones are special variants. So yeah, really fun. But here we are with the Tech Rock Babau. Can't even tell what kind of Eximus that is, but as you see, the dog actually does pretty decent damage. And there's actually a magnetic mod too that has for claws now that you can even throw on here too if you wanted to. So yeah, that might look like bad damage to you, but trust me, these things have damage attenuation like crazy. Here's my Furus. So here's the Furus, guys. Do you think the dog has low damage now? And again, these are the less tanky these are the less tanky versions than the ones you fight in Face-Off. So the tankiness is real. By the way, guys, hope you found this video fun and helpful. You will be seeing a lot of Sevagoth for sure in Face-Off, because the way how tanky and damage attenuated these guys are, it feels like you pretty much have to play Sevagoth, because if you don't, you just basically lose. There's pretty much no way to go against a Sevagoth in this mode and actually win if they know what to do. So just be aware of that, guys. If you can't beat them, join them. So you only need 1 Sevagoth per team. But yeah, Wisp and Volt would be great backup for Sevagoth to get to the objective faster. Now that we talked about that, some other frames that are good for this aren't as meta but are still good. You got frames like Zaku. Zaku's really good for this with the Void Guns. Kalervo, we had a Kalervo on our team that was doing pretty good. Kalervo's very good for just doing a bunch of melee damage and killing stuff. And I mean, the list goes on. Like those are a lot of the frames we've been playing, though. But yeah, our main team comp has been Volt, Wisp, Sevagoth, and then +1. Whoever that +1 is. You know, Jade is good. You know, you could have we used to have Dante, but now that we've made this new strat, no Dante's allowed, unfortunately, because it's really hard to die when you have a Dante in your team. So with Wisp, you can pretty much die through her motes a lot of the time, or just, like, you know, wait for them to wear out. Overguard does not wear off unless it gets damaged and destroyed. So yeah, keep that in mind going forward. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Appreciate all the support. Take it easy. Let me know any strats that you've been enjoying in Face-Off down below. Alright guys, peace!